Two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Okay, it's a Thursday scoop session and a happy Reckless Speculation Thursday.
The 1st of May. I love it.
To all who celebrate. We're going to speculate on how many days of rest the Wolves get after they dumped the Lakers out of the playoffs last night. But he is from the Channel 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department and the most popular man on Twitter, Darren Doogie Wolfson. Doogie, I feel like we need to eliminate the at replies from your Twitter and
You're right.
Remove the temptation to be mean to people and get in fights. Just let's move it off to the side over here, Doogs.
I hear you. Like, legitimately, laughs aside, it's on me. Like, I need to be better. More than anyone. I don't need to respond. I shouldn't respond. I'm the fool. I went too far, and that's on me. And I sincerely thank a few people. I don't need to name names, but some people that reached out providing all sorts of really good advice, plus a couple of people that said, hey, you're okay, but I own it. It's on me. And so I need to be better. I will work on being better moving forward. But I think you're right. I think the key is still tweet, but like there's no reason to engage.
Yeah,
so those who need to reach me, email, Facebook, different ways to correspond with me, fine, so be it. But like in terms of my notifications column on Twitter, done. There's no reason.
Well, listen, I didn't know if you were going to say anything or not, and I appreciate you taking the platform
it's not like
here.
We do any sort of pre-show prep or anything like that, but I'm glad you brought it up. This isn't scripted or anything, but it's on me. Like, and by the way, dude, I'm an idiot for engaging, so that's my fault.
We love you. We've been friends with you for 2 decades. I mean, hell, Judd and I, Declan more recently in the last 10 years, but it's when we love you and we know how awesome of a guy you are, and we see like an internet interaction or two, and people then think something different of you, and it hurts us too. So listen, man, we know who you are behind the scenes, and we love you.
Thank you, Phil. I love you too. It's mutual. Love all you guys. So thank you.
All right, that's a wrap on the scoop session.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Happy Reckless Speculation Thursday. All the credits are rolling. Let's go Timberwolves here, boys. Last night, the Timberwolves had one of the worst shooting performances in the history of the NBA in terms of volume. They missed 43 pointers last night, still had a lead going into the fourth quarter. I don't know that they brought anywhere near their A game after game 1 to this series, and they dumped the Lakers out. And we've been talking Flagrant House last night. We want the smoke and the fun that would be a Warriors series. So if the Warriors could close that thing out, but just your general thoughts on the Timberwolves dismissing the Lakers in 5 games.
I certainly did not see it coming, Phil. I thought it was a nightmare matchup. I thought it would be a long series, but the Lakers would win the series. So I misdiagnosed the series big time, much like I misdiagnosed the Phoenix opening series last year. So there's a theme. I'm now confident, whether it's the Warriors or the Rockets, that we will see the Wolves play the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. And how about this? I started to think about this. So if you dismantle the Lakers, then I do think the Warriors find a way to win Game 6 or Game 7. So let's say you advance past the Warriors, then the Thunder, then either the Celtics or the Cavs. Where would this rank the last few decades? Like, that's as good an NBA championship run as I could remember. Now, a long way to go. I fully understand that. 12 more victories to accomplish. Trying to get by Oklahoma City with them having home court advantage, best of luck, right? Then to beat either Cleveland or Boston in the finals, it will take incredible luck and fortune. But yeah, I mean, the fact, Phil, that last night they did not play well. Literally first team in NBA playoff history to shoot less than 20% from three-point range with that high volume, over 40 three-pointers, and win the game. They shot more threes than twos. How about Julius Randle? I just saw the note from Wolves PR. I can't believe this. His 4 consecutive 20-plus point games, that marks a career-long streak. I would have guessed somewhere along the way Julius Randle had 4 consecutive games like this, but Julius Randle playing incredible ball. Really, both ends. Like, I can compliment his defense because the bar to me is pretty low. So I think he's jumped over that bar. Rudy Gobert, brilliant. But yeah, they have not played good basketball for long stretches.
Yeah.
Now they did at the end of the regular season, right? So there's a carryover, 17-4 in their last 21 leading into the playoffs. Yeah, the opponents weren't great, but that matters. But I'm telling you, Phil, I feel really good about their chances in the second round. It looks like if the Warriors win, tomorrow, game 1 at Target Center on Monday, and depending if Wolves, have to wait a little bit longer, it could be Tuesday. We're looking at Monday or Tuesday for game 1 of the second round. Now, if Houston comes back, wins in 7, game 1 in Houston on Tuesday. But yeah, nothing Sunday. So your weekend is free. The earliest the Wolves will play is Monday night.
So let's go back to Game 5 last night and give more flowers to a guy who's taken a ton of criticism throughout the years, and certainly here, Gobert. I saw this stat, Dukes, from ESPN. Gobert is the first player with 25 points, 20 boards, and an 80% shooting in a series-clinching win in the history of the association. That performance last night, I think we need to reflect a little bit and talk, just because, he does take so much heat. He does get clowned nationally pretty consistently. Without him last night, they get blown out. And it wasn't, the scoring was nice, but the boards were nice. And how many boards, offensive boards, did he get off of their 3-point misses to stop fast breaks from the Lakers? So the Gobert game, to me, his best game as a Wolf, has to be talked about just to sort of offset the criticism that we've heard of this guy for 2 years now a lot of times.
Amen. And how about Jackson Hayes not playing a minute? Maxi Kleber, who hasn't played in many, many weeks, comes in at the end. Further proof. And hey, I think JJ Redick had a really good regular season. I think long-term, he's going to be a really good head coach. Chris Finch coached circles around JJ Redick. But where was Jackson Hayes? But yeah, absolutely, right? And let's not forget, Rudy Gobert on an extension took a pay cut. Now, it's not like he needs some sort of GoFundMe or anything like that, right? But it's possible if he had hit the open market, he would have gotten more. And so he re-signs with a pay cut in play. But yeah, and you think about, especially if it's the Warriors, right? Like, I feel confident about the Warriors finding a way in Game 6 or Game 7. Think about Gobert against the Warriors. And certainly, I think if it's Wolves-Warriors, Naz Reid is in for a really big series. I think Julius Randle is in for a really big series. But Gobert, right? You feel good about that size advantage against the Warriors. So, yeah, just, if you believe in momentum, confidence, all that, think about Gobert heading into next week. Really, really, really enjoyed watching him play last night.
Yeah, that was, man. And I think even at halftime, he dominated the first half. And Shaq, I love that show, and I think it's funny when they clown guys. And guys, the sparring is part of what makes that show incredible, and the tension between kind of the new school, old school. But even when given a chance at halftime, Shaq's going to do a film breakdown, and he spends the entire time fake gagging, like, I know, I can't believe I have to say something good about Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, he's doubling down on his dislike of Gobert. Yeah, maybe at some point Shaq turns a corner. I sort of excuse it just because I love that show. I love the entertainment value. I love Shaq. But yeah, I don't get the clowning on Gobert. I really don't.
Okay, would you, now that you have the evidence of the Wolves advancing past the Lakers, add LeBron James and Luka Doncic pelts to the wall for Anthony Edwards and company? And Ant wasn't amazing as a scorer last night, but he did all the other things really well. Made a bunch of the correct passes. He was a great rebounder and a passer. Judd came out slinging, burying the lead on a podcast episode this week, and said Anthony Edwards has surpassed Kevin Garnett in the Timberwolves pecking order. And yeah, your guy, our guy, Chad Hartman, went on Twitter and ripped Judd anonymously. Of course, he said, "I've heard rumblings that people are saying."
I respect Chad.
What do you think of Judd's take from this week? Do you think Anthony Edwards has passed Kevin Garnett in Timberwolves lore?
I don't. No, it's not the most asinine take I've ever heard, but yeah, I'm on the same page as Mr. Hartman on that one. Eventually, yes, like we're on the pathway to that, but right this moment, no, I still put KG above Anthony Edwards. The best moment for Anthony Edwards last night was post-game. Was it TMZ or some video service captured
Yeah,
him
when they're in the arena.
walking down the street outside Crypto.com arena. It was so good. It was fantastic. I mean, it's out there. If you haven't seen it, just do a quick social media search. You'll see the video of Anthony Edwards walking down the street. Had some Wolf security with him, right? But just that was so darn good. And hey, right, like for the most part, he was brilliant during the series. Yeah, okay, not brilliant last night, but overall had a rock solid series. And I get it, in basketball years, he's just about a veteran, but still only 23 years old. So think about where he will be at 26, 27. I mean, Phil, how long do we have to go back outside of Giannis with the Bucks a few years ago? How far do we have to go back where somebody below the age of 26 or 7 was the alpha, was the clear-cut number one on a championship team?
Boy,
I think we have to go really, really far back. So it's pretty rare for somebody this young to lead his team to a championship. And so it may not happen this year, but you feel really good about their chances over the next 5 to 7 years.
If they make the Western Conference Finals again, though, okay? So KG made it once, and in fact, he made it past the first round once. And I'm hearing this thing, well, look at the supporting casts. I feel like that is equally as unfair to use against Ant. Like he's still lifting guys up. And it's not Ant's fault that the Timberwolves might be run more competently now. But I'm not saying like career arc that Ant has, because Ant, hopefully has years and years left to play. But I'm just saying, as far as impact on the franchise, if they make it back to the Western Conference Finals for a second consecutive year and they're already past the first round again, like that to me has to factor in. That can't be ignored. And I don't care that much about the supporting cast, because again, I'm not going to hold it against Ant that his supporting cast might be a better one, certainly, than Kevin had at one time.
All right. Gary Trent Sr. to this day tells me we would have won the championship spring of 2004 without the injuries. So let's say the Pistons beat them in the finals, but they advanced past the Lakers. So that 2003-04 Wolves team, Judd, makes it to the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have a different opinion?
Probably.
So is it because they lost in the Western Conference Finals?
Well, it's also because they didn't make it past the first round other than that season, too. Like, if they had made a bunch of playoff runs, I think I would have a different opinion. But the fact is that at the age of 23, Ant has his team past the first round. This is the first time in franchise history, boys. 1989, first time in franchise history. They made it to the Western Conference Finals. Like, let's wait and see. I'm fine with that. But there has to be something about that's important, because this franchise, I mean, it's not just that they've got these years of being incompetent, which they certainly do. It's also, you had these stops and starts of playoff berths for years. What, 8 years, 9 years?
8.
And you only won 2 rounds in that entire time. KG was great. I'm not trying to denigrate him. I'm just saying, in my opinion, you have to put something on what you do in the playoffs.
It is crazy that he has more playoff series wins.
But it's fair.
Fine. More playoff series wins than Kevin Garnett.
Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me.
At some point, God willing, if I'm not suspended from some sort of Twitter interaction, something idiotic on my end, right? God willing, over the next few years, when we revisit this talking point, I think we'll all be in on, hey, Anthony Edwards has surpassed Kevin Garnett. He is the greatest player in franchise history. Just not quite there yet.
Fair.
But hey, I think he is going to win. Not like I'm going out on a limb. I think he is going to win an MVP eventually. He is going to be first team All-NBA. Maybe not this season, like second team this season, but eventually be first team All-NBA. He's still getting better to me. And hey, the leader he's become, I'm just telling you, those guys freaking love him.
Yeah, they respect. He can get into guys too. They're on the court, man.
Yes.
He got into Nas last night. He got into Dante at
Chris
Target
Finch
Center.
can also coach him hard. I brought this up. I think a lot of the Spurs' success going back was the fact that Greg Popovich could really coach Tim Duncan hard. Chris Finch can coach Anthony Edwards hard. I think that's meaningful.
Yep. Okay, we'll get to the rest of Doogie's thoughts and scoop bag here in a moment. Shout out to North American Banking Company for powering the scoop session today. Minnesota-based since 1998, 6 locations: Maple Grove, Roseville, Shoreview, Hastings, Woodbury, and 50th in France. And in my experience, getting to know the people at North American Banking Company, I would say some things you'll notice are the emphasis on personal relationships, very friendly, knowledgeable people that will help you, cutting edge online tools, and the prioritization of safety and security of your accounts, which is a big deal in 2025. So if you want to find out more about how North American Banking Company can help you with the basics or the big things, nabankcode.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankcode.com/Mackey, member FDIC, equal housing lender. And Dennis Kirk is here. It's riding season, man. It's going to be 75, 77 degrees this weekend. If you ride motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, maybe you're already looking ahead to snowmobile season because you're a sicko like that. 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories for riding season through DennisKirk.com. Same-day shipping when you place an order by 6 p.m. Free shipping on orders over $89. Go to DennisKirk.com to find out more. Dukes, any other Timberwolves thoughts before we go through the rest of your scoop bag here?
I mean, what about that KG Game 7 performance against Sacramento?
Crazy.
Right? I can't get there, Judd. I'm sorry. Can't quite get there.
No, it's a good discussion.
It is. It's fine. Yeah, fun discussion. Absolutely. And respectful discussion. I can't quite get there on Edwards already in this moment on May 1st, 2025, surpassing KG as the greatest player in franchise history. I continue to hear, like, the calendar is now flipped to May. Like, the belief is it'll be this month. Alex Rodriguez, we saw how happy he was courtside in Los Angeles. Yeah. Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lowry officially becoming majority owners of the Wolves, plus the Lynx. But, like, I don't foresee it, or at least those close to the situation don't foresee it happening, like, next Monday or Tuesday. But the belief is it'll be this month that officially takes place.
Come on, KG. KG, once you is KG waiting until the ink is dry and the vote happens before he sits courtside for a Wolves playoff game?
Yeah, well, I mean, for years, right? I mean, this has been a year's process. Trust me. Alex and Mark have they've been in touch. Put it that way.
Yeah,
the wheels have been in motion for a long time to bring KG back in some form.
Is Glenn? Okay, here's a dumb question. Let's say it gets finalized in the middle of the playoffs. Does Glenn still sit in those seats for the duration of the season?
He has the seats. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he'll just be chilling there. Okay.
So does Glenn, as part of the deal, keep those seats in the next season?
Yeah, that's part of the deal. Yeah.
So he's not going away. He's just not going to own the team anymore.
Correct.
That's uncomfortable. Okay.
Is KG going to wait till he's no longer? I think you're going to have to run into him at the arena if Glenn wants to pay for courtside seats or get the courtside seats. You can't really. So come on, KG.
Yeah, it's probably inevitable. Yes. I mean, unless, just it happens to be a night next regular season where it just doesn't work out for Glenn to make the trip up from Mankato.
Oh, yeah.
That's the night that they recognize KG. But yes, inevitably at some point you would think the two will run into each other.
Yeah.
Hey, Dukes, on Garnett too, does he need to be, like, for all of this to come together and the jersey goes into the rafters, does Garnett need to have a role of some sort with the team, or could they just do that with him coming in and it being done? Like, what's the next step here? Like an official role, or just like, hey, let's get back together and try this out?
Well, somewhere in the middle, some sort of, like, he's still going to be based in LA. Like, I've not heard, even though he's still got some real estate holdings here in the Twin Cities. Like, I haven't heard of Garnett picking things up, moving the family back here to the Twin Cities. And so, consulting type role, whatever that might look like, right? And make, some trips here, be engaged to some extent. But I don't know if, like, there'll be like this official title, or maybe there will be, and that's the optics publicly, but maybe more so some sort of consulting type role. But the idea is to welcome him back to the organization in some capacity.
Yeah. Okay, what's left in your scoop bag here? We got the Wilder trying to stay alive. The Vikings, the dust is settling after a big draft weekend. Where else do you want to go here?
Well, sure. I mean, I was at the airport on Wednesday, was at Wild Morning Skate this morning. So that's why, thank you for the flexibility. We're talking a little bit later here on Thursday morning. Gus, the bus, was not on the ice. Now, it was an optional skate this morning. John Hines told a few of us, hey, yeah, I think Gus is okay, but I think behind the scenes, there's still some question marks there just heading into tonight's game 6. Now, speaking with Marcus Foligno on Wednesday, he's like, hey, like, we're built for this, right? Like what we had to deal with at the end of the regular season, like we're fully ready. We feel like, hey, for good stretches of this series, we've been the better team. We feel pretty good heading home. And so the idea is we're packing for an 8-day road trip. Then we're heading to Vegas for a game 7 on Saturday. Then we're either heading to Edmonton or Los Angeles for games 1 and 2. So that's the mindset, which, hey, that should be the mindset. But I think the headline, Judd, is, hey, like, is Gus okay? Even if he's in net, is he feeling even 90, 95%? Just question marks about that. The fact that he was not, again, optional skate, but enough guys were at the rink. Like Spurgeon was there, just didn't skate. Matt Boldy went out on the ice just in his tennis shoes to shoot a few pucks.
That's what he does, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah, I mean, that's normal game day routine for Matt Boldy. So a few guys were there, but no sign. Fleury was the only goalie on the ice. So no signs of Gus at Tria Rink this morning.
So he came out after 2 periods of what would have been game 5. Gus did because of illness that we don't know if it's like the flu or what. It did seem odd that he played 2 periods and came out. I will say this, on an optional skate for a goaltender who's played as much as him, who's also been sick, not a surprise. I would expect him to play. If he got through 2 periods in game 5, I would think that he plays. But I was interested, Dukes, in the fact that Gus Nyquist, who has been a 0 contributor, who was offside on the Hartman goal, which, by the way, would have won. You'd be going to close out the series tonight. I was a little bit surprised that Hines is giving him such a free pass. Like, there are options to scratch him. He was traded for a 2026 second-round pick. The trade is awful. And I don't know if they're trying to prove it's going to be fine or what, but that one intrigued me because that was a guy who cost you the game. Like, there were a lot of things, but that was a stupid mistake, and I thought he might be scratched.
It was a stupid mistake, but, like, could you imagine in a football game if a pick 6 got called back because a defensive lineman was millimeters off sides? Like, this is a larger discussion, but I don't know where I stand. I get it. Clearly offsides. I understand that. The Wild have benefited from that, so I understand that too.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, has replay gone too far?
Yeah, what if offsides was only you could only call it in hockey with the eye test? You couldn't go back. Would it change
they did
the
for
game?
Years.
You know?
Oh God, yeah. There's thousands of goals that have been scored now through years and years that would have been
close enough. Let's play
disallowed.
On, you know?
The difference on this one, though, is like you are taught from, peewees on, drag your skate, don't go offside. And it's one thing it was close.
I get that. I understand.
Right. It was close, but it was very, very clear. And it was just such a stupid thing because like that one, this is how you lose series. Like this type of mistake is how you lose it. But there's, you know what? They have stuck with their vets. My guess is that they're going to stick with John Merrill on the third pairing tonight over Bulliam, who played in the first part. So Hines is very, very married to his veterans in some ways. And I hope they win.
Yeah. And, for what it's worth, so Fleury was on the ice this morning. Then it was Liam Ogren, Devin Shore, Zeev Bulliam. So suggesting, guys getting some work in that aren't in the lineup tonight. Hines wouldn't officially confirm anything in that regard, but you're right. I mean, on Wednesday at the airport, Hines is like, hey, when asked about Nyquist, like, hey, there were things that happened earlier, right? He went to that card, right? Like, not all on Nyquist. There are things we could have done differently way earlier in the game to not be in that very position. Kevin O'Connell tonight doing the Let's Play Hockey. So Kevin O'Connell doing some work at Tria Performance Center today, TCO. Twin Cities Orthopedic Center, that is, in Eagan, and then he'll transition over to the X for Game 6 tonight. So we see the Andrew Van Ginkel extension done. Drew Rosenhaus also represents Josh Metellus. We can talk all we want about Harrison Smith being the heart and soul of that Vikings defense, but I think it's Josh Metellus. Josh Metellus is so meaningful to what Brian Flores wants to accomplish. It's logical to think that eventually that's an extension that can also get done. On Josh Oliver, I don't have recent, in the last 24 hours news, but going back a few weeks, there was a sense from the Oliver side that, hey, we're comfortable as much as, hey, we like it here. a comfortability getting to free agency next March.
Yeah. I love Josh.
But he's another
man.
logical extension candidate that you at least engage with his representation, seeing what the number is, seeing if there is a marriage there moving forward. But certainly a comfort level that if it gets to next March, Oliver is okay hitting unrestricted free agency.
Have we seen what the Van Ginkel contract extension actually is as far as the cap? And my guess was that it was going to prove to be actually, clearly favorable to Andrew, but also to the team. So I will be curious to see what they did to try to smooth the cap out or create more room, because my guess is that's also part of why they did it.
Yeah, seeing if I have anything. Has it been filed yet? I have not seen anything as of yet. Hold off on that for next Tuesday.
Okay. Will do.
Yeah. Always curious though what Drew and Jason Rosenhaus provide. Okay. What's the actual contract look like?
Right.
I get that. I understand that.
All right, dudes. Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. And
one more note I mentioned on Tuesday, the Twins made Matt Canarino an offer. Now it's official, Canarino. And the reason I talk about Matt Canarino, we've seen it when he's been healthy. Minors.
It's been 3 years since we've seen anything.
In Fort Myers. I understand that.
Move on. It was
there
3
is
years
eventually
ago.
A role in the Twins bullpen for my guy, Matt Canarino, but he has to get healthy. So we're talking maybe this time next year at the absolute earliest.
Let's go.
The Twins wanted to get it done. Matt wanted to come back and never really got far with any other team. The Phillies had some level of interest, but Matt Canarino officially back on a minor league contract.
There was 3 years ago I showed some promise too, and now I'm locked in. Now I'm here. I showed some promise.
Oh, be careful, Declan. Be careful what you say now.
I'm not saying anything else.
This could circulate. You don't want certain people seeing this.
I'm telling you, I completely get it. There's no proof that he can be healthy for a sustained stretch. But if, emphasis on if, I understand that if, capital letters, if he can ever stay healthy, that arm can help in the bullpen.
There is a hypothetical world where in 2027, Chris Paddock is your horse number 1 starter and Matt Canarino is the number 2. Let's make this happen. All right, Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Love you too, Doogie.
We'll see you next week. Wow, Judd showing some love. That
Dukes.
wasn't even insincere Judd right
No,
now.
I
love Dukes.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Totally. Love you guys.
This is Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd. See you guys.